Good evening and welcome to Ballinagree. We're here in Horsemount on the farm of Robert Keller, and this evening we're going to do a little display with sheepdogs. The one thing that strikes you about Ballinagree is the number of hills, and of course where you've got hills you've got sheep, and where you've got sheep you need a fairly good sheepdog. So I'll just speak now to some of the people involved at the moment and how it all got started, and we have a display after that. So I'll start off here by having a word with Thomas Keller, who was one of the earliest members of the local Sheep Pinning Association. So, when did it all start, Thomas?
It was about 20 years ago in Ballinagree. I think that was about the first time we started at him. About 20 years roughly now.
And you've been competing in Ballinagree every year since then, have you?
Yeah, and in different places.
And you've brought up the old cup a few times, no doubt?
A few times.
Hawley here as well, he's from Rylane. Hawley's been involved and travelled all over the country in sheepdog trials, and is well recognised as a good trainer of dogs as well. So, Hawley, where did it start for you?
Well, I think we started in Ballinagree about 1964. Yeah, I think it was around 1964 anyway. I started there. They had been on there for a couple of years previous to that, but I hadn't been there.
And you've travelled fierce distances by all accounts to trials. What's the furthest distance you've actually travelled over the years?
Well, I think the longest distance we have travelled would be to Derry in Northern Ireland. We went up there in 1975, I think. We bought two dogs there actually at the same time. I think that has been the longest journey I've travelled. But I've tried to think in practically every county in Ireland since then.
And you've brought home a few cups on occasions from far distances as well, I suppose?
Well, we have brought a few from time to time, alright.
And about the dogs then, we'll say you go overseas for some of the breeds, that sort of thing. Is there a Welsh breed or something at the moment?
Well, there is, yeah, but we mostly have our own breeding. Well, some of the breeding we had go back, alright. Some of the bloodlines go back to some of the Scottish bred dogs like Winston Cat. We have some of those here. I have 2 or 3 of those dogs of that bloodline. The rest are our own breeding.
Very good. Here also we have Robert Keller, who is actually Thomas Keller's son, and who learned the trick from his father, and who was very successful during the year there as well in numerous sheepdog trials. So I'll just ask Robert a few questions about it as well. You've been competing in Ballinagree as well at the early stages as well?
Yes, well, not since I started, because I wouldn't be as old as these two bros now, right? We've been there going a lot of years.
But Ballinagree was the start of it for you as well, was it? Or?
Yes, the start of it, yeah.
We'll say between you, I'd say a fair amount of trophies at the moment and that sort of thing. So this year alone, you've been fairly successful.
Well, we had a good year this year. I got first in Ballinagree in the hours and second. I got third in the Open, and I got 2 thirds in Kildare, third in the Novice and third in the Intermediate. I got a third in Wicklow in the Intermediate, and I got third in Rylane in the Novice. So I didn't move too bad, like.
You're doing very well. A man who's actually not with us today but would have liked to be with us is a man called Michael Bradley, who started into sheep pinning this year, and who's had a little bit of misfortune with his dog over the last few days, and unfortunately he can't be here with us today. But Michael did fairly well as well during the year, Robert.
He did. He had 2 wins. He got 2 firsts. First in the Novice in Rylane, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
And he got first in Intermediate in Keller. He only started this year, so he only started the last year.
But Michael is showing a lot of promise by all accounts, and his dog is working out fairly well, is that right?
Oh, he's very good. Young bitch is very promising.
Very good. The season has been closed now, I suppose. At the moment, is it for sheepdog trials, or is it closed until next summer again, or when?
I suppose it nearly is. There'll be hardly any more trials to come off, I suppose. This year now, until late in the year. I'd say hardly, there wouldn't be anything.
I suppose a lot of time goes into the training and management of dogs, and with the number of dogs you've got, Holly, I suppose it takes a fair bit of time and effort to get them to the standards they are at the moment.
It do take an awful lot of time indeed. It'll take anything from once the pups that work yet 3 or 4 months until he's 2-year-old at least anyway. That's a lot of time and patience have to go into him to bring him up to trial standards. A lot of them will never make it. A lot of them will make good farm dogs, where they might make good enough for trial work. So you go through an awful lot of dogs to get dog good enough to compete at trials. You need a very, very obedient, well-mannered type of dog with a good temperament for to run trials. So you do go through an awful lot of dogs to bring over them properly for trial.
I've heard it said that some dogs are self-trainers, that sort of thing, but By all accounts, anyway, that mightn't be altogether true. You have to start early on.
Well, you have to for the start, and you have to have the breeding. You have to have them truly bred. And we started off around 3 months. We started off working, but you wouldn't take them out until maybe 7 or 8 months because they get a hurt or something like that, and it might happen. From that on, then you'll be training away. About a year and a half, and you'll have them.
If we don't manage them fairly well and not to give them any bad habits and that kind of a thing, it's very easy to spy them.
So I think before saying any more, we'll just go through a little display here that Robert has a few obstacles set up here in the field, and while Robert is doing his run through with the dogs, I'll just get Holly maybe to mention what he's let's say attempting to do. So we'll try that now, lads. Right, Tom? Well, here now we're ready to start our trial, and Robert is in his position. The sheep are a long ways out the field there, as you can see. So I'll just ask Holly here now, what is the object of the exercise?
Now Robert is just ready here for to let his dog go. He can let him go on his right or on his left. Either side doesn't make a difference once he get out to the back of the sheep. So now we'll just wait until Robert is. He's going to put him out on the left, I think. Yes, he is. Put him out on his left. See how the dog takes nice wide outrun.
What breed would this dog be now, Holly's?
He's a border collie bred dog. Now he's out of my own black dog here. He's out of my own spy and a bitch by Robert himself. He's a young dog. I think he's a dog about 2-year-old. In fact, that is a lovely outrun, as good as you get in any national trial, I think. That is absolutely perfect. Stopping perfect.
And this dog just walks strictly to whistle, is it, or?
Both whistle and voice. I think he'll work very well to both, which is a great advantage really. Because the whistle is the thing really for a dog working at a long distance. But it's a great advantage to have a dog working both on voice and whistle, because if you ever sell a dog again afterwards, you know, it might be easier for the new people to adjust to being working on voice. Now he's coming up here perfect for the centre hurdle. Absolutely perfect. This is it, this dog is under great control. This is very, very well done. This is good enough actually for any national trial.
Is he actually going to bring him through these two obstacles directly in front of us?
Coming in straight for the obstacle now. In fact, he's very little bit to our right. I think he'll get away with it. Yeah, he'll get away with it. Doing very well, doing very well.
And is this the standard type of course that's normally in a sheepdog trial? Or?
It is, yeah. It's the standard. What I mean is, it's some trials you may get a longer course, but this is fairly standard nearly everywhere. This is perfect, absolutely perfect. These sheep seem to be moving very, very well and keeping together, which is a great thing really, because what happens in a lot of trials is where you get sheep now that'll be very fast and that they're inclined to break, you know, like break into twos, or one inclined to break away and all that type, but these are absolutely perfect. And of course there's a very, very experienced men walking this dog too, and I think that's what makes a big difference.
Normally would a dog work better for the actual owner than anybody else, or do they adapt pretty quickly?
Well, I think a dog works best for its owner. In fact, it's the best way to work a dog. This is it now, right behind his back now. He's going for the left-hand drive hurdle here now. And get his dog set in behind these sheep properly. He's right. That's it. Going very well there now, that's very well.
The handlers obviously, I suppose, is important as the actual dog in a case like this.
Oh yes, definitely, definitely. The handler is very important. You have to really know your stuff. But of course you must have a very well bred dog, a dog of nice temperament. What I mean by that is a dog now that's easily handled, you know, not a very terribly high strung dog. If a very highly strung type of dog, you know, they're inclined to get excited, you know, and all that, but what you want is a nice, cool, steady type of dog.
What's he about to do now, Holly? Is he done?
The right hand drive hurdle, perfect. Perfect, very, very well done indeed. So now he goes to the pin from here. I've got to put the 4 sheep into the pen.
So it's important that he approaches the snow from the right angle, I suppose, Holly.
Yeah, that's right. It is very, very important indeed. Oh yeah, he's going to shed, I think. Yeah, where to divide the sheep into two. So, you know, you have, bring your dog in between two sheep, divide them into two parts, which is a rather difficult thing to do.
I suppose one wrong command for the dog would be fatal, would it?
Absolutely disastrous. Absolutely. So there's a lot of skill involved in this here now, where this shedding is about to take place. It's a very, very hard thing to do, because you've got to be dead on with your dog. Both yourself and dog have to move the same.
With a situation like this now come with so much into play in everyday work on the farm, where you have to split up the number of sheep for reasons.
It does, yeah. I mean, where you're sorting sheep and all that, like, it's most important, like, that you've got a dog that's that flexible, that you can bring him around any way you want him, like. You know, this looks a bit simple, but gee, I tell you, it's not all that simple at all. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's just one thing that strikes me from watching one man and his dog on the television there, that it looks so simple until you're trying to do it, I suppose.
That's right, yeah. It is absolutely. You know, that is, it looks so simple, but gee, it's a very, very difficult thing to do. So now he's approaching the pin now, which is the most important part of the trial, really. This is what it's all about. So you can get these 4 sheep into the pen.
And normally in competition, of course, you'd be working to a time limit, would you?
Oh yes, in all competitions, at all, we'll say local trials, net your time limit is 7 minutes for to complete this course, which is a very, very short time if you have got to. If we get difficult sheep and things going a bit wrong for you and things like that, so your time is very, very limited.
Well, here he has won in anyway, Holly, so
I'd say he's gone. Yeah.
The others are inclined to follow.
Yeah, that's right.
Very good. He's been he has a good run, I suppose, here in this case.
Very great run.
And that would be within the time limit, I suppose, would it?
What would you? I'd say that would be in a time roughly, I wouldn't be that sure now, but it should be around 4 minutes of that.
Would the dog actually hold there now as he stands, and Robert could come to us maybe for a moment?
Oh yes, the dog could stay there now. In fact, now we're inside for a Brace Championship, where they have 2 pens, where they run the doubles, we call them. They have to leave a dog at each pen. So that, you know, it's no problem to have a dog to stay there for, I'd say, a fairly lengthy time, you know, to hold these sheep.
Very good. Thanks very much, Charlie, for the commentary, and been very helpful.
Right there.
Here this time we have Holly Hurley and his dog Spy, and he's sending him out now around these sheep in the distance. So Robert, I'll ask you a few questions as he's doing his run. This is a fairly old dog, Robert.
This is a very old, he's an 8-year-old dog. Actually, he's the father of my young dog there I just walked.
Very experienced dog, I suppose, no doubt. Is that one of your few trials in his day?
He has a lot of trophies won alright. A lot of cups, a lot of first prizes got. He's a very good dog, very intelligent dog. Dog has plenty of power.
And a good man behind him, of course, no doubt.
Oh, very experienced man. He's many years has been at it.
This dog seems to be a little bit cautious. Is that normal for, we'll say, an old dog, or?
He's an older dog and he thinks he's a bit tougher. But he'll move in, he'll bring him. He has a perfect outrun. Which, you know, on the left hand side. Which is very good for his age, like, for the age of a dog.
This dog now responds to whistling command, no doubt.
Well, he goes left and right in the whistling command. He'll walk to whistle and voice just as well. Very steady dog, moving on nice. Very nice, no.
And he'll be taking the sheep across for the centre huddle, I suppose, Robert, like you did the last round.
He'll be bringing it close to the centre huddle. Like going off to the bit now, off to the left now a bit.
Is it easy to correct a dog once he starts to drift off a little bit?
It's not so easy once they go off, but for an old dog now, like, you know,
yeah, just missed that hurdle slightly there, and
got the speed to pass him.
That speed is an awful important factor, I suppose, in this.
Well, you have to have the speed. Just that'll do.
Yeah, he just didn't seem to have the speed there at that point.
He hadn't the speed. He had to go on the distance side there.
For his age, I suppose he's fairly.
No, he's you know, you can't expect that whole out of him, like. He's a lovely walk now after the sheep. Lovely, nice and steady. Did the sheep go a nice even pace.
Seems to be online for this one, Robert.
Oh, he's perfect now for that time. Oh yeah, lovely. He's very tough, he has a lovely walk, very nice dog. Oh,
Was this dog actually competing this year in competition, or is he retired from the business?
no, he's still in the ball. He's still going. As I say, the years are showing him.
And I suppose walking against the clock and all, the dog wouldn't have a very good advantage really, would he?
Well, they wouldn't, you wouldn't have the speed of what you have in a young dog. I think to 7 minutes you have to complete the whole course in 7 minutes. And that's not very easy, like, you know. I say the course is big. Coming in nice now. Lovely turn there. Right across the field now to the right hand drive. Coming on lovely.
This dog now, can he be walked with another dog in the one trial, or is he strictly a solo operator?
Oh, you can only walk one dog. Well, there is a thing in the doubles, you can walk 2 dogs. You have to put one dog out on the left hand side and the other dog out on the right hand side, and keep on their own sides. It's not a very easy thing to do.
But this dog is strictly used to walk on his own, is he?
He's the lower, that's that he walks on his own.
Now we're heading now for the lower obstacle here. See on course?
He did straight, slipping off a bit now. But he'll get it, that's it. Lovely, lovely. Very nice.
He seems to have corrected the sheep there pretty good on that.
Lovely turns there now.
So now, where is he heading for next, Robert?
Coming back now to the post. He's going to shed him. In 2 twos.
As I asked Holly there earlier, this shedding, it comes into use in every day work as well, does it?
What'll do? That'll do. Well, you'll always have this, how you have sheep. Start them in the mountain, in the field, which is very handy. And the dog is very well used to it. It's not a very easy thing to do here with 4 sheep.
Now he's hoping to divide the package.
Divide the 2 sheep now. The dog has to come in right in between the 4 sheep, and he cannot trust the sheep with the stick. He has to walk in nice and easy. Very nice, very nice.
Very well done. Would he have got full marks there now if it was in competition?
He gets 15 marks now for that.
Now his next exercise is to... What's his next...
Keep now into the pin. It's not a very easy thing to do. Lovely.
First time lucky there on that.
Very nice there.
Full marks there, Holly, for a very good effort with a very old dog, and I'm sure you'll get another season out of him, no doubt. This time we have a veteran of the trailing, Thomas Keller himself, to give a run, and his dog Rose. This is a reasonably young dog, and Robert, how old is this dog?
This dog now is she's a female. She's 6 years. And she's been trialing now the last 4 years. No doubt she was good for trophies won.
And you learned the knack of the pinning as well from your father Thomas, is that right?
Well, I got it came down from my father. That's how I learned it in all position. He's been running his trials now for years. That's how I got the hang of it.
We've had a few more local people as well who had very good success over the years with dogs, and unfortunately some of them can't be here today, but Frankie Murphy, for instance, Frankie has some very good success down the way.
Frankie has a very good dog, yes, but he wasn't able to make it today. He's got a very young bitch. He has a good few cups won.
Frankie would have travelled the length and breadth of the country for all sorts of trials.
He has lots of trials travelled, yeah. He travels the most.
Now Thomas is what exactly is he heading for now here, Robert?
I think now he's going to try the one dry huddle. He's around his back.
And this dog Rose has been in competition during the year, has she?
She has, yeah, she has. She got first in Keller this year. First in the Open.
And in places like Keller now you'll be competing against people from far and wide, I suppose, would you?
Well, you would have a good share of dogs there, yes, you'd have a lot of dogs there.
Wouldn't be confined to County Cork, would it?
It wouldn't, no, you'd have dogs in Castleton there and Fermoy, Tipperary, all those places. You would have a good number of dogs there.
And of course, a few carrymen would cross the ball, no doubt, to compete.
Oh, they would have carried on, yeah, let's have running, huh?
Now he's heading for the hurdle.
Now to the left and drive hurdle. You drive him on nicely. Going a nice even pace.
This dog seems to have the little burst of speed when it's needed, right?
She has plenty of speed, yeah, she's light. She can go when she's needed. Very nice. That's straight through the huddle.
Thomas actually trained this dog himself, is that right?
Yes, that's right. He brother and trained himself. Lovely going.
Nice steady pace.
Lovely through.
Now what will he bring off this time, I wonder?
He's going to bring the sheep right across the field now to the right hand huddle. Right through right across the field. Very nice. Lovely moving.
This would be a typical type of course for this for any trial.
Well, to be this will be the same course now as all the other trials. You'll be walking inside in maybe 10 acre field, which will be a very big course for the dog.
Now he's bringing him around the back here towards the...
He's bringing him around the back now to the pin. Right around the pin now. There's a lovely speed.
Very good. Full marks there.
Very nice.
Very good, Thomas. I think you've still got the neck. Well, we've had a nice little display here this evening, and I suppose it'll be of interest to a lot of people. Nearly every farm, I suppose, you find some form of sheepdog, and whether they're good or not is another thing, but maybe some people might get interested after seeing something like this locally and might take up trialling, as I say, like Michael Bradley did last year, and it's a great success. So I think you were pretty happy with your run there, Thomas, at the end.
I was good enough. Good enough.
He acted pretty good and seemed to have the burst of speed there when she needed it.
Yes, that's right. It did.
And your dog there, Holly, of 10 years old, I think she's showing her age a little bit, but still walking pretty well.
Yeah, he did show his age a good bit coming in there for the simple huddle. Alright, he missed the huddle coming. He didn't seem to be able to hear what I was saying to him, though he was kind of close. I thought he should have, like, but I think the age is taking its toll. They say he's a dog of 10 years or more now, so I suppose I can't expect too much more from here on.
Do you intend trialling her next year, or will you take on over the younger dog maybe?
Well, I have a couple of younger dogs. I suppose that'll nearly take him over, though he may do another season maybe, but after that he definitely will be gone. So can't expect anything of him after 10 or 11 years.
Had he good success this year out in the circuit?
Not too bad, mind you know. He had a couple of he won a couple of trials, but I'd say that his hearing is getting bad, you know, and I think that's what happened coming up there to the huddle. He didn't seem to hear me, so when they reached that stage, you know, there'll be a lot of complications. The sight will probably fade a bit as well, so I'd say both sight and hearing seem to be a bit of a problem there now. So I'd say maybe the chance of you running next year may be slight, and if you do run, it'll definitely be last. But
would you like to see more people, we'll say, taking part in the sport locally or getting involved? We'll say people up to now haven't been really, I suppose, that enthusiastic. A lot of local people into it, like, but would you like to see a bigger interest in it?
I would, of course, definitely like to see more local people involved in it. There have been a couple of newcomers alright this year, which you know, I think it's great to see newcomers come in, because it will help to promote the sport a bit more. And I think if there was more local trials held, it would probably interest more local people. You know, the fact that there don't be that many trials locally, so that, you know, they probably wouldn't have the interest in. But I think if there was more local trials, it would definitely encourage more people to take part.
Speaking of local trials there, this year you held a very successful trial in Rylane, and a few people I've seen there have been, we say, on One Man and His Dog on television there, is that right?
That's right. I have been, we held trials in 22nd of July, which was a great success. We had people taking part from different parts of the country. They came down from Wicklow and Dublin, Wexford and Kildare, Meath, Galway, all those counties up along, they all came down to support us. So I think it was great. But we held trials back in 1974, 75 and 76 as well, which were a great success. So they left for a couple of years, so we said we'd have to go off them again and get them off the ground this year, which we did, which was a great success. I was very thankful to it. So we intend to run them again for the future, every year for the future, in fact.
Very good. I see as well there in Ryland this year I see a lady working out pretty well with a dog, so I think the ladies seem to be getting interested as well in it.
That's true. Well, that lady, in fact, has been at the dogs for quite a number of years. I think she's at them with about 7 or 8 years. She's from Waterford, actually, from Kinneck, Thomas and County Waterford. And she's a great handler. In fact, I think there's a credit due to her, to take part against all the male competitors, and she has had quite a lot of success, too, in fairness to her.
Is she the only lady you've seen on the circuit this year, or?
Yeah, she's the only lady we have seen on the circuit with quite a few years. There was a Mrs. Donoghue from Westwood used to compete back in, we'd say, the early 70s, up to the mid-70s, but she doesn't seem to come out anymore. I don't know if she's still in the sheepdog business or not, but she doesn't appear at the trials anymore, I know. But this Mrs. Hillers from Waterford is a great, there is credit due to it. It's great to see someone like that having that heart to come out and take part in all the big trials. In fact, she ran her dog in the National this year and done very well in the National, which I think was a great achievement for her.
Very good. Robert, we'll say now it's close season. Will you be still keeping your dogs in tune? Do you have to put a lot of work into them, training them in between now and the start of next season? Or is it a thing you just take up maybe a month before or so, thereabout?
Well, the trials now are over this year, and there'll be a lapse now for 2 or 3 months. Probably maybe in March we'll be starting training again for the coming year, the coming season. But there'll be a bit of a lapse now, alright. We'll be doing farm work, getting the sheep off the mountain and the cattle.
So that'll keep him fit anyway, if nothing else.
Oh, it'll keep him fit, alright, and keep him fit.
And this dog that you used today, is this the only dog you've been trialing this year, or have you a few more?
I have one dog as well. She's 14 months now exactly. She'll be ready now for next year.
So like I asked Holly there, would you like to see more people taking part in the sport, or we'll say, is there any chance of people taking part in the sport if they have any average type of dog?
Well, I would of course love to see people coming out like with dogs, because it's great to see them coming up. It's not nice to see the same for the all time with dogs, but I think if there was more local trials held like that, there would be more interest taken in the dogs. There would be more younger people coming up.
That's very good. Thank you, Thomas, Holly and Robert, and best of luck to you.